Hey there, and welcome to the screencast. My name is Mary, and today we're picking up where we left off, and we're going to continue with this MODx Revolution Basics series of screencasts. And we're looking at and learning how to work with MODx Revolution. Now, in today's installment, we're going to go over how to install packages, how to install add-ons and extras to your MODx Revolution install. Now, if you're accustomed to working with MODx Evolution, which was the classic code base of MODx, it's the 1.x series in MODx. Whenever you do an install, the basic install system would allow you to, or the basic install process would allow you to select, or it would come with several snippets already packaged, several snippets and plugins and extras packaged into the basic install, and you could uncheck the ones that you didn't want, or you could more often than not you'd install all of them and then use the ones you needed, and the other ones would either just sit there or you'd eventually uninstall them. Now MODx Revolution is different. It comes with no add-ons packaged in it. Just what you get when you install MODx Revolution is the basic core of the system. And if you need any extras, if you need to use, for example, a snippet to add navigation, or to use a snippet to create a contact form, you have to add that on. You have to install that from the package repository. Now, this is true of the current version of MODx Revolution at the time of this recording, which is 2.0.8. That's the current stable version. 2.1 is on the way, but currently we're using 2.0.8. And I don't know that if this is going to change in future, but currently MODx Revolution doesn't come with any add-ons packaged onto it. It's not plug and play. It's just you have to add these, you have to reinstall these add-ons and then work with them from there on. All right, so today we're going to look at how to find the add-ons that you need, how to install them, and that's just going to be the basics of what we look at today. I'm going to go through two things. One is how to install them using the package manager, and the other is how to install them manually. Now, you might wonder why I want to go over how to install them manually. And this is simply because there are times in different setups where the package manager doesn't always work, and it's good to know that there's an alternative that you can install them manually. That has happened to me a couple of times. The ideal, of course, is to install and update them automatically using the package manager, but you have to be prepared for times when that might not necessarily work for you for whatever reason. All right, so let's get started. If you want to catch up, if you're just joining the series, you can find these tutorials at modxvideotutorials.com. This is where these screencasts are being hosted, or rather being presented. And you can start with how to install on MAMP or on localhost, and I sort of talk about similarities with XAMPP and WAMP and others. How to explore the manager. We just do sort of a basic overview of what the manager is, and how to look at the system settings, how to set up your site name, and so on. So you can catch up there. If you have any questions about any of the screencasts in this series, any of the screencasts on this blog, go to modxvideotutorials.com/forums, create a free account, and ask away. And myself and others will be there to help you out. All right, so here's our site. I'm just going to log in. This is a sandbox that we installed in the first screencast in this series. It's just a plain old blank site. There's really nothing in it. We haven't really done anything much. So if you're catching up now, don't worry. You haven't missed much. It's just a basic sandbox install. We don't have anything else installed. Now, where do we find MODx extras? If you go to the MODx website, that's modx.com, go to Revolution, because that's the version that we're working with, and go to extras. You'll find there a list of all the extras that are available for MODx Revolution. These are either third party or they've been created by the team, the core development team, but they're there for you. Page is really well organized. Top downloads, there's newest, there's highest rated. So you can just go in there and explore, and each, when you open, sort of gives you a brief overview. And let's say, for example, simple search, you can look at more information, and that sort of gives you description. If there are previous versions, you can check on them. You can look at the stats, installation instructions, and so on and so forth. So that gives you sort of an overview of each package. Additionally, And this is really helpful for me, especially if you look at categories. The add-ons have all been sort of lumped into categories depending on what functionality you're looking for. And this is really handy because often you'll know, okay, I want to do a particular thing. You don't know what the add-on is called, but you sort of have a broad idea of what category that add-on would fall into. So say, for example, I want to create a menu. I want to create a sort of a navigation system. So I might come here and I might want to look at, oh, look, there are two categories. There's menu and there's navigation. So I might look under menu to see what add-ons are available. There's Wayfinder, Easy Breadcrumb. I can totally, look through the little descriptions there and sort of make a decision which one I want. You can look at under navigation, might find a bit of duplication, might find a bit of the same sort of packages appearing, read more about them. Another great resource when you're trying to decide what extras you might need is the MODx forums, the MODx official forums. And you can find these at modxcms.com. I believe this is going to be changing pretty soon. But if you go to the MODx forums, I'm logged in, so there we go. You can sort of go in there and just under general discussions or somewhere, you can just ask, this is what I'm trying to do. Any ideas what would be the best add-ons, or are there any add-ons that do what I want to do, and so on. And so we're going to be, through this series, looking at different add-ons as we go that are used for different purposes, but there might be other add-ons that do the same thing that suit your purpose better. So by all means, please explore, go in here, look at the different add-ons. And because you've got your sandbox, if you've been following from the beginning, you've got your sandbox sort of installed on your computer, you can just go free and install as many add-ons as you want and experiment with them. All right, so let's look at the two different ways of installing add-ons. Now, I'm going to install about 4 or 5 different add-ons that I find I use consistently on most of my sites. The first one is Wayfinder, which is right here, that I tend to use for creating menus and creating navigation on my site. Wayfinder just sort of creates, and spits out an ordered list of, based on the parameters that you give it, it spits out an ordered list, which is great for navigation and for menus. Another one is Get Resources, which sort of aggregates together resources depending on certain criteria that you set. And we're going to look at all these add-ons in much greater detail, and we're going to use them hands-on, which is a good way, I believe, to learn, and so on. So I'm going to install Wayfinder, Get Resources, Get Page, which is another really useful one for paginating. And let me see, and I'm also going to install Formit. So let's get started. And Formit is great for creating forms, for example, contact forms and so on. So here we are on our sandbox. We're in the manager. So how do we install an add-on? You go to System. Remember, we looked at this when we looked at just a basic overview of the manager. We looked at the different items in this menu. We want to go to System and we want to go to Package Management. All right. So right now you can see that I don't have any extras installed. It's blank, it's empty, nothing there. So I'm going to click on Download Extras. And this brings up the screen here that asks me, select what packages to download. And here I have most popular and newest editions. So I could, because I want Wayfinder, it's sitting right there. So I could just click on that and install it. Additionally, I could click on Extras. And that would open those categories again that we were looking at before. So I could go to Menu. And right here, it's going to list. And if I click here, I can see, details of what Wayfinder is and so on. So in this instance, I know that I want to install Wayfinder. So I simply click Download. And I wait. Now, this can be a little frustrating because it's JavaScript. And can seem to be a little slow and might not seem to be responding, but just be patient. All right, so it says it's downloaded. All right, so I can now finish. I'm done with that. And if I now come here back, it brings me back to my package management page. I have Wayfinder there. It says not installed. So I can then go on and it tells me what the version is and what the release is. So I can then go ahead and install that. Agree to the terms. All right, there we go. Can read through the terms and agree to them. I've done this so many times I don't really need to read through the terms. And there we go. So it says successfully installed package, gives me this OK button. Usually when I see that OK button, I know I'm good to go. If it's ready for me to click on it. All right. So I'm just going to click that. And there we go. It's now installed. So Wayfinder installed on May 23rd. no updates. This is the other really cool thing about using package management, is that when a package that you're using is updated, it shows up here as yes, that you need to update, and then you click the button here, usually will say, update, and you can click on it and update your package. So easy enough. Let's download another one. The next one that I want to download is get resources. I'm just going to grab it from here. There we go, get resources. Released March 29th. We have the version there, so I'm going to download that. And like I said, we're going to use all these add-ons as we go. You're going to learn how to use them by watching these screencasts and see what they come in handy for. All right, there we go. And finish, and I can now install that. Same process, agree to the terms, read all that good stuff, click next, successfully installed, wait for my OK button to be ready, there we go, and so on. So we've installed two of the packages using the package management. Pretty straightforward, not a problem, easy to use. Now, in some cases, like I mentioned as I was introducing this screencast, you may want to install a package manually for one reason or another. And there's a way to do that. So let's come here. I'm just going to come to Finder. Actually, no, I'm going to first go here, and I'm going to download Get Page. And again, like I said, this is not really the optimal way of installing, but it's good to know how to do it if you ever need to, for some reason, do a manual install of a package because the package management is not working for you. You basically should try and figure out why it's not working, but if you can't, then you can do it this way. So here we go, Get Page. I'm just going to download it. All right, so it's downloaded. I'm just going to put that on my desktop there. Okay, so then I'm going to come into Finder, which is where my sites, I'm going to come into my sites, into my Revo sandbox. And what I'm going to do is in the core here, under packages, I'm going to move this. I'm just going to repeat that really fast because I clicked around really fast. Here I am in my sites folder, in my Revo sandbox. If you're on a host or shared host, this will be sort of the root of where your MODx site is sitting. I'm on my local host, so it's sort of inside a few other folders. So in here, you go into core, and you go into packages, and I'm just going to move my download in there. So you see there we have get page 110 PL transport zip. This is the transport. This is a transport package. This is what, when you do the automatic install, this is what MODx does for you automatically. Is it uploads this to your site and then unzips it. But in my case, because I want to do a manual install, I'm going to just copy the transport zip into my core packages folder, and then I'm going to go back into my site, all right, and I'm going to say add new package. I'm in the package management page, add new package. I'm going to search locally for packages. I click next, and I say yes. So it will now search your core packages directory for any valid packages. So you need to be in that core packages folder to move your package in there, and then let MODx search for it and find it. There we go. So we click yes, and it finds it right there. Get page not installed. I can now go ahead and install it. There we go. Click next. Successfully installed. Wait for my OK button to be available. All done. So here we go. We've installed 3 packages. 2 of them we've done them using the package management system, the automatic way of installing packages. And the third one we've installed manually because it's a good way to know how to do it. It's a good thing to know how to do it just in case for some reason you're unable to automatically use the package management. Again, like I said, it's not optimum to do manual installations. Ideally, you should use package management and let that handle the whole process for you. But if you ever run into any issues where a package is just being stubborn and won't install for you, you can always do it manually and then try and troubleshoot and figure out why your automatic installation and your package management is not working. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this screencast. We've looked at how to install packages, how to find them, how to sort of decide what packages you want. Like I said, go look at the different categories, explore them, figure out what the different packages do. Talk to people on the MODx forums and ask questions and see what packages people like to use for different things. All right, so now that we have that going, we've figured that out, learned how to do that. Like I said, if you have any questions, just create a free account at MODx Video Tutorial Forums. Feel free to ask and I will respond to your questions. In the next screencast, we're going to continue on. Now that we have a few packages installed, we're going to start actually templating our MODx website. So we're going to look at how to work with templates starting from the very basics. We're not going to create and slice a PSD. Instead, we're just going to find a ready-made HTML, CSS template, and we're going to bring that into MODx and just sort of learn the basics of how to do that and build up from there, continue building our site and learning how to use the different snippets and learning how to work with MODx Revolution. Thank you so much for watching and see you at the next screencast.